BeamNG and Trackmania might look like they are worlds apart, with BeamNG's realistic physics and Trackmania's arcade-style chaos. But there is one thing they nailed perfectly in common: difficulty. Both games have tracks that look simple on paper but will absolutely humble you in practice. Take A1 in Trackmania, for example. It looks so easy, even when you are watching the world record. But there is something tricky about it that hooks you, that just one more try appeal that keeps you coming back. BeamNG's Gavril jumping course have that same appeal. You see a few jumps and think, how hard can it be? But just like with A01, once you try to master it, you are in for a reality check. Today we are diving into the history of speedruns on this easy-to-do, hard-to-master course and exploring just what it takes to go from your first attempt to a world record-worthy run. Before you jump into the action, if you're into challenging courses, wild crashes and epic speedruns, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. Alright, let's break down what makes the Gavril jumping course such a wild ride. On the surface, it's simple, just a few ramps, jumps and turns leading to a straight shot to the finish line. But some of these jumps will push your control skills to the limit. One wrong angle and you are cartwheeling down to the track instead of landing smoothly. Quick tip: lock the differentials and use L4 on 4-wheel drive. The first helps with tight turns, while the second improves control for jumps. You'll need both to survive. Let's take a quick look at the course itself. It has 8 checkpoints, a mix of ramps and some tricky turns. But it's really two distinct parts: the road and the town. The road section is straightforward, except for one weird ramp that can end your run almost immediately if you don't have L4 engaged. The town, though, is a whole different story. Tight turns, narrow ramps and zero room for error. Here, speed is everything. One bad turn could mean the difference between a new world record and a 1 second loss. With that overview, you'd think the Gavril jumping course might not be too hard to get through, until you realize that speedrunning this map is a whole different beast. Each runner was trying to find new strategies to shave off seconds from the time. Yet only recently was the majority of unique skips discovered. Let's take a look at some of the most memorable runs in this map's history. From the early attempts where players were just trying to survive the course, to recent records where every ramp, turn and landing is calculated to get the best time possible. Each record brought its own innovations, from handling the tricky ramp on the road to mastering those hairpin turns in the town. So let's dive into these legendary runs and see how the pros have tackled this easy-to-do, hard-to-master challenge. The first runner who managed to beat this map was JackoRuns. He was driving cleanly and avoiding ramps. But why? Well, answer is simple. When you are in the air, you don't accelerate. Also, this runner was not using locked differentials, and this is the reason his town part was not great, especially turn around the pole. Still, with time of 1 minute and 32 seconds, he finished and managed to be the first holder of the world record on this map. In 1.5 months, he was beaten by Vercle, who managed to find and successfully implement 2 new strategies that were to become a staple in the running of this scenario. But what were they? Well, the first one is jump to the mud. You see, car has pretty good speed overall in this part, and ramp aligns perfectly with jump to the field. This can save quite a bit of time, depending on how smooth you will land. And second one is corner cut in town, which saves quite a bit of speed, which leads to beautiful time save. But what about Vercle's Run? Well, runner did messed up on the jump to town, and that did cost her a second. But overall, her run outperformed previous one by 2 full seconds, with final time of 1 minute and 30 seconds. In just 2 days, it was beaten again, this time by Ozercraft. He was the first who started implementing differentials lock, and even though his second turn in the run wasn't great, he managed to perform pretty smooth landing on the grass and saved quite a bit of time with this cleaner approach. Due to locked differentials, pole turn was also clean, and he managed to finish with 1 minute and 29 seconds on the clock, sub-30 run. But how far can the time be pushed? Well, keep watching and find out. Next one who had eyes on the prize was ConArtist172, and he was ready to beat previous record. He ignored small mistake at the start and kept going. Smooth landing on the grass helped save time, but suboptimal jump right after took it away. But he still managed to break the record with beautiful drift in the town and overall clean driving. He managed to save 0.6 seconds and his final time was 1 minute and 28 seconds. Funny, but that record managed to hold for only 1 hour before being beaten by Vercle. She managed to save whole 1 second, and the reason is quite trivial: reduced airtime. Runner managed to ignore several of less nasty reps. Still, additional speed that she got from it, combined with clean driving, led to a nice record of 1 minute and 27 seconds. But ConArtist wasn't done just yet, and in less than 2 days he managed to get a 0.8 improvement. The reason he was able to do it is pretty easy to spot: clean driving and next evolution of grass cut. He managed to land smoothly and decided to not drive towards road, but instead cut more through the trees. This did reduce overall airtime and brought more speed, which did lead to finish with beautiful time of 1 minute and 27 seconds. And that was it for the next 6 months. No one dared to try it out, seeing it as one of the most simple scenarios filled with precision. Grind to beat the record would be hard. After some back and forth while hanging out in Vulp's stream, I finally convinced him to give it a try. This runner already proved himself by beating some of the oldest standing records, and this was just another one on the long list. In just 2 days of running, he managed to get sub 27. He beat the time by 0.4 seconds, purely through clean driving, finishing with a final time of 1 minute 26 seconds, 0.598. Now the question is, how clean can this map be done? And the answer will surprise you, because after all the commotion Vulp Run did, more runners stepped in to try and take place in the spotlight. Hyku was the first to do so, and after some tries and fails, he managed to beat Vulp by 0.1. But that was just the beginning, the start of competition on this particular map. Vulp did strike back with 0.4, but sadly not for long, because Hyku decided to destroy this map once and for all. In just 4 days he managed to drop time to 126.2 and then to sub 26 seconds with time of 125.793. Hyku was out for blood, and he was pushing this track to the limits, or at least everyone thought those were the limits. During this time community tried to speculate on what actual limits were. Weight reduction, some obscure skips, none was really possible, either too precise or just plainly unreal. Hyku managed to drop time on the map to pretty ridiculous 125.4. In the meantime, ConArtist came back and was trying to find any way to reduce time. He showed one skip to be possible: ramp skip right after second turn. The problem with this particular time save is pretty obvious. It's really precise, and even if you know how to do it, one small mistake and it's a restart. This is the reason why Hyku, after all the practice, fails and persistence, managed to break yet another second, 25. With time of 124.799, this was the cleanest run you can imagine, and still it will be improved several times, especially with Hyku's claim in Discord: sub 24 can be done. But ConArtist was still there and was ready to beat time again. He did everything and used all the strategies he knew about, and got time of 124.797, only 0.2 thousandths faster, but it still counts. In about a week, Hyku posted one more record, 124.390, and then during the same day one more, 0.296. In both he was trying to use similar techniques to get best speed and time. He had implemented new skip right after precise cut, another blind precision part. One mistake and you are out, and yet this has to be done to achieve best time. Another trick up his sleeve was turning, not just any, right before first jump in town. It's pretty hard trick, especially due to pole, which you can easily hit if you are not careful, but this one saves a lot of time. And ConArtist tried everything, managed to push Hyku back with 124.185. Pretty clean run, and I believe it could have been sub 24, if not for one mistake at the start. More likely it was a trick to get a good turn, yet it did hurt the engine a bit, which in the long run probably led to loss of speed. But Hyku didn't like to stop, especially with his earlier statement. In just 24 hours he managed to do sub 24 run. This replay is a perfect example of how simple map can become a battleground for perfect competitive action. And this is final time, 123.936. But can it be beaten? Yes. Should you try this map yourself? Definitely. Especially with new strategies that is popping off. Weight loss is a big one. And that was history of speedrunning on this beautiful and hard map, Gavril jumping course. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And I see you guys in the next one.